what we're going to do is we're going to log into Paragon like we normally would for doing anything else. Okay, so here you are at your main screen for your Paragon login. And let's say you want to look up some tax information on a property that your client might be interested in purchasing. The first thing you'd want to do is pull up that listing ticket. Now you can either do it by entering into the quick search area over here, which is most likely on the left of your screen, or at the top in the power search. You can enter it in by the actual MLS number if you know it, or you can go ahead and enter in the address. In either case, you'll pull up a listing ticket. Now, your view may be a little bit different than mine. I use the agent detail with map view. You may be using the default system view, which is an agent detail with a big map or a big picture. Either way, you're going to see all of your series of quick links somewhere immediately on the listing ticket page. So the one we're going to be talking about today predominantly, and really the one we're going to be talking about today is the BSNA online free link. So whenever you see this icon showing up on a listing ticket, that means there is some level of information available to you with BSNA, which is a tax source which provides a lot of information regarding the properties. And I'm going to show you what that information is and why it can be important and relevant. So this particular house, really nice house here. What we're going to do, it is located in Bruce Township, which is in Macomb County. And what you would want to do is click on that BSNA online free link. It will automatically take you to the BSNA site page. It's going to display for you the information regarding the property, information that is extremely relevant to you if you are a buyer's agent that you may want and or need to share with your buyer, but it's also very useful information if you are going to be the listing agent. Now, obviously, if you're going to be the listing agent, you might be clicking that link from an old listing or an expired listing, but when you click that link, it's still going to give you the current up-to-date information about that parcel. So what you can see here is it's showing you the address of the property, the municipality, the state, the zip code. It also shows you the parcel ID number. Now, it doesn't show you the first 2 digits of whatever county it's in, but it does give you the parcel ID number here as well. It also gives you general summary information regarding the property. In this case, it tells you that the property was built in 1999. There are 4 bedrooms, 3 full baths, 2 half baths. The property is 3,269 square feet above grade, as well as on 2.77 acres. To the right, it shows you what the current assessed value is, or the last entered assessed value, the current or last entered taxable value. Also on the right is a little button that allows you to map it if you wanted to map it and see where it was, or GIS it if that option is available, and the ability to print. One of the things I like to do is, especially if I'm looking up information for a client, whether it be a buyer or whether it be a seller, I like to print, and rather than physically printing it out like with the printer, I will print it and print it as a save as a PDF. That way I've got the information saved to my computer that I can then easily share an email with my clients, the information that I have found and or discovered for them that may be relevant information for them. Okay, now we're going to go back over here to the left. One of the really nice things about BSNA is that it will often give you information, not all the time, but very often, it will give you information about the property associated with the parcel itself. And that's what we're looking at right here with the pointer. There is an image and there are 2 sketches. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on that. So you can see the information and see why sometimes this is such a great source. So there's the front elevation or front of the property. There even happens to be a date on there as to when that picture was taken. Then down here at the bottom, you have a next option. So when you click the next button, the next thing that's going to pull up is actually a survey shot of the parcel site, the actual land. It's showing you that over here is where Teal Court is, that it's a private road. Here is the beginning and the dimensions. Here's the length with the degrees and minutes. Notice it's a very odd and irregular site. And then it shows that subject site square footage. When you click the next button again, it now shows you a rough approximated overall of the building structure itself and any of the improvements. So some of the townships and cities are really, really good about putting extremely detailed information in here. Other ones, it's a little more bland and a little more plain. But what's really neat about this is, again, this section also gives you the ability, if you look down here to the bottom right, it also gives you the ability to print and save those images as well. So this is showing you the house. It's showing you that there is a first story vault or basement section or area, first story basement, stamped squared patio slab concrete that is 1,000 square feet, 1,016 square feet. Here is the front of the house. CCP refers to a porch. So there's a lot of information in here that could be useful and relevant. Notice storage over the garage. There's a lot of information here that can definitely help you when you're looking up information for your client and when you're looking up information for yourself, if it's going to be a new listing. In this one, they even showed and indicated that there's a two-sided fireplace right here. So it's kind of neat. It's a great amount of information that can be very helpful and very useful for you as an agent and for your clients. So I'm going to go ahead and click the close button down here. And now we're back to this main page. There's also some additional tabs, and there's also some jump to quick links. All of these jump to quick links are on this main property information. Notice if I click to the tax information tab, the jump tos change because it's only relevant to what is in that tab. So we're going to go back to the property information one. It shows us and displays who the owner is. It also, as you scroll down a little bit, general information for tax year, in this case 2020, shows you the property class, shows you the school district, shows you township, assessed value, taxable values. If there was a equalized value that was available in the system, it would show it and display it right there. It also shows you and lets you know if the property is at homestead. It also shows you what some of the previous year information was, the previous year SEVs and the previous year taxables. There's also some additional information down here regarding, again, the acreage. Sometimes, depending on the property, when it's a square or rectangular shaped property, you might even find and see what is total frontage and average depth on the property, which is also useful. It also displays the legal description, which is often very much needed during the course of writing an offer or doing a listing. It also lets you know if there's any information regarding the Land Division Act. It lets you know some of the last sales history, if not all of it. It also gives you additional building information, which is extremely important. Quite often we'll see properties where, as agents, we will see properties where somebody is listing the house for sale and saying that it's 1,800 square feet, but they're including the basement, 800 square feet of the basement, or 900 square feet of the basement just because it got finished, when in reality it's grade or higher. So in this particular instance, it's breaking down for you that the floor area, square footage, at grade and higher is 3,269 square feet. The basement area alone over here on the right is 2,427 square feet. That's a huge basement. It shows you that the garage area is over 1,000 square feet. That's a really large garage. And again, the foundation size. Notice the basement and the foundation size are the same, which usually means it's a full basement. There's not an additional crawl or anything else anywhere else. Year built, single family, 100% complete. It has a well water, a septic system, and it's considered a 1.5-story style home. It also gives you some additional building information, some additional plumbing information, fireplace, garage information, and the porch information. Remember, we were talking about how there's a porch on the front and there's some porches, what they're classifying as porches on the back, and those different sizes. So if we scroll back up to the top, and let's say we wanted to do a quick jump to the building information, we could click that and it fast forwards and scrolls us down to where that building information is. Notice over here on the right, you can click back to top and it automatically takes you right back to the top. Now, the next tab on this particular property is the tax information. You can click on that tab and again, scroll down slowly to look at the information. Again, there's the owner and taxpayer, legal description again, and then it also gives you a really good reasonable breakdown of what the taxes have been, what the amount was, the total that was paid, when it was last paid, and what have you. Now, once in a very, very great while, it may look like somebody owes property taxes and they really don't. Sometimes getting all of the information updated in the system isn't as fast as we would like it to be. So if you do see something where it's showing that it's all unpaid or that there's 5 years unpaid, I wouldn't worry about it too much during your preliminary search. If you're representing the seller, I would certainly ask and question the seller about it. Ask them if they have any of their receipts showing and indicating that taxes have been paid, or maybe it's being done through escrow and maybe they can get that information from their lender. Just something to double check it. Otherwise, the other option is to simply call the township or go to the township and check with the township to verify that taxes have been paid and are up to date. Sometimes it's just a non-entry issue, which we have no control over, where it may be showing like somebody owes something and they really don't. Now, also with some of the municipalities, there might be another tab here or regarding utilities. You might be able to click on a utility tab and you might be able to view and see what if it's a city water, city sewer property, you might be able to see that utility information for the water and sewage, which would give your client a really good idea of what that particular homeowner's usage is in the property. And based on the size of their family, if it's a buyer you're working with, you might be able to give them at least a rough idea of what the current usage information is. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look up another property. So we're going to go up here to the top. We're going to click and close that window. We're going to go back up here to our power search. We're going to pull up another property and see if we can see some different information about that one. So we're going to pull up a property that's in Fraser, still in Macomb County, but a completely different municipality. And we're going to check and see what some of that information is that they're reporting there, being that this is a city water, city sewer property. So again, here's our BSNA quick link. We're going to go ahead and click that. It's automatically going to go ahead and connect us to that parcel ID information. Again, here on the left is the information regarding there's 1 image and 2 sketches for this property. So we're going to click that and we're going to take a look at that information. It's always useful and helpful. We're going to click the next. We're going to see that again, this is another slightly irregular shaped parcel, but it does give you those rough dimensions, which is going to be something that's important for your potential buyer, or if you're the listing agent, future buyers. And then we're going to click next again and see this one's a little bit more general, not as detailed as that one on the other house. So, but it does provide the same information. So here you can see it's a 1-story brick ranch. It's 1,092 square feet. It's 42 by 26. It has a 52 square foot front porch. There is a patio, and WD is a wooden deck. So it's giving you the information and the specs on all of that. And it's also showing you that this property has an oversized 2-car garage, 30 by 24, 720 square feet. Again, great, useful, relevant information, whether you're representing the buyer or the seller. So we're going to go down here to the bottom. We're going to click close again. And again, all that same general information is in here like we had talked about before. Now, notice not only do we have the property information tab, we have the tax information tab, but we also have a building department tab now and a utility bill info tab. What we're going to do is we're going to click the building department tab so you can see what kind of information would be in there. This usually has to do with permits pulled. So one of the nice things about the cities that are reporting building permits online is that you'd be able to see, okay, if there were permits pulled, you'd be able to see when it was issued, if it was finalized, if it wasn't. There's even a view tab that allows you to pull it up and take a look at it. So in this case, there was a building permit pulled that was finalized back in 90. It was issued in 98 and it was finalized in 2002. So whatever they were doing took 4 years, so they must have kept extending it. We're going to click on the view button and then we're going to take a look and see what it was. So it looks like it had to do with the garage, the big garage that was built. Then it lets you know that there was a rat wall done that was completed and approved. And then the final, they came back out and it was approved as well. And then there's some of the information regarding fees and payments throughout that process for that particular ticket, for that particular permit. And then what we can do is simply go back to right here. You can click the record results. So we're at the permit screen for this property. We're going to click record details. It's going to take us back to that main page. And then we're also going to see this tab for utility bill info. So now we're going to click that tab. And here's where we're going to see some of that information regarding sewage and water. So it lets us know what's going on regarding, see, water ready to serve, water commodity, sewer commodity recycling, and meter replacement. So you can see all those things there. Here's the information showing when it was posted, the time frames, what it was that was calculated. You can pull it up and view it. Water, 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 water. And then here's that information in those balances. So you can scroll down and you can see a little bit more information. There's some usage history if you want to take a look at that. I'm going to show you something else. Let's say you've been doing some research through the MLS, either on possible buyer properties or listings or what have you. And here you are now, and you need to search for something that isn't in one of the 3 counties that is free to us through MiRealSource. The 3 main counties are Genesee, Macomb, and Wayne at this time. Now that's always going to possibly change in the future. More counties may be added, some counties might be removed. But let's say you're looking at these things and you need to look at something else from here. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to go up here to the right-hand corner of the BS&A screen. There's a little option down here when you scroll down that says sign off. So if you sign off there, it will take you direct to BSNA not signed in. You could always create an account if you really wanted to do that, but it's not necessary. You'd want to scroll all the way back over here to the left-hand side, and you'd want to go down to the section that says municipalities, and you'd want to select a municipality. So let's say you're in here and now you want to look up a property in a different municipality other than Fraser, where we were just looking at. So what you can do is you can enter in the municipality. So in this case, we're going to look one up in Algonac in St. Clair County. We're going to click that. Then it's going to ask us to input the information up here. We can search all records or certain things only, but I usually leave it at all records. You also have the option, if you go here, you can click, and there's different ways you can search. You can search by address, by the name on record, or by the parcel ID number, by the parcel number. So address is usually the easiest thing to search for. 99 times out of 100, we have the address unless it's a vacant lot. I'm going to go ahead and enter in an address, in this case 920 Liberty. I'm going to scroll over here to the right. I'm going to click search. The property is going to pull up. Here's 920 Liberty. And I want you to notice this information is not free to us, not at this time. So if you want to get access to this property and its information, it's very, very simple, and it's only a $2 fee. You may do this 10, 12 times a year, maybe a little bit more than that with an area or accessible information that is not free to us. That's great. All you have to do is enter the information, pay the $2 fee. You can get all the information that's there in BSNA. You can save it as a PDF. You can print it out, whatever you need to do, and it will even give you a receipt. When you print that receipt, it allows you to go ahead and handwrite in or enter in the address of the property. That way you can use it for your tax records for your real estate business. Now, some of the things that are great about BSNA, I'm going to go ahead and get us out of here. I'm going to go ahead and close that tab. So some of the things that are really nice about BSNA is that it will often tell you information about a property that you may not have known, the buyer or seller may not have known. I had a couple of incidents over the past several years where I had two properties that I was prospectively listing, where in both instances, the house was built on a crawl. But the information had been recorded incorrectly at the municipality level. And in both cases, the information that was entered in to the municipality tax systems was that both homes were on a basement. That's a slightly higher tax bracket than if the home is built on a crawl. So in both cases, my clients had to go to the city or the township. They had to report the error, ask the city or the township, the assessor, if they needed to come out to re-verify. And then they had to make changes to make sure that they were being taxed correctly. I also had two properties over the past several years, one of which had a really old barn on it that had been taken down almost 15 years before my client even purchased the home. Yet the township had no record of that building ever being torn down and demolished. So the homeowner was still being taxed for a building the size that was like 40 by 60, as if it was still an improvement upon the property. So it's really important when you have the ability to utilize all of these great resources that we get from MiRealSource. Check your BSNA on every property that your client is buying or selling. Check RealList. Check the information against each other and against the property when you go out to it. I can't stress that enough because there are often things that need to be changed or corrected. I also had a situation where I had a client who was looking to sell their home, and their home was roughly 1,300 square feet or just shy of 1,300 square feet, and that was measured. So we knew that was correct. And it was a basic rectangle shaped ranch. So it was very easy to measure. And at the municipality level, when the home was being built, they had mismarked one of the lengths of the rectangle. And because of that, it was reflecting that the property was over 1,800 square feet in size when it was under 1,300 square feet in size. Again, that client of mine had to go to the city and have them get that corrected and changed because they were being charged the highest amount of taxes on their whole entire street, even though they had one of the smaller houses. And it was because of an error that was made at the assessing level when the home was built. It's not a BS&A error, that's user error for inputting. So that's why it's always good and important to make sure you double check all of your BS&A whenever you can get it accessible to you, either by free or by paying the $2 for the information. Double checking your real list information, because a lot of that information is imported from older listings. So you want to double check against the two. You want to make sure that you are at the property, view the property, know what is the information is at the property itself when you're there. And you should also double check with the city or the local township, whatever the case may be for the property, to see if there's any additional information that you can get your hands on regarding the property that your client is purchasing or that you are getting ready to list. So if you know the address of the property and maybe your client's been in the home for 20, 25, 30 years, and now they're deciding that they want to list the home and sell it with you, one of the things you can do is right here from your main page, you can click on the tax resource icon, scroll over to BSNA online, and when you go there, you may want to make sure that you are not signed in. Click the Select a Municipality button down here on the left, and then go ahead and enter in the municipality that you're looking for. In this case, St. Clair, the city of St. Clair. Type in the address of the property, and once you find it, you can pull it up. I hope that was some really good information for you, and I hope that helps you research better through the tax information.